Hello, good evening, my dear students. Uh, it gives a great pleasure to have you all once again for this session. My name is Prashant, and I will be taking care of the entire series of your value education session. I'm coming up with my 8th lecture on the value education series, and today's topic is quite interesting and it is related to social values. I believe everyone is aware that we are all social animals. हम एक social animal है जिसको हम generally जानते हैं. We are all dependent on each other. हम एक दूसरे पे काफी निर्भर है. And with the same intent, I would like to share some interesting insights on how you can inculcate social values, how you can basically consider yourself that even you being a part of the society, even if you're working tomorrow in any organization, if you become a businessman, an entrepreneur, but still the social values are really important for you, right? So I would be having some interesting insights for today's session and a lot of you know examples, case studies, and I will be also sharing one interesting video. So please stay tuned and watch this video till the end. That's my sincere request, and try and retrospect your own life and how you are going to make an impact in the society in general. Okay, so ये मेरा एक आपसे निवेदन है कि आप प्लीज इस वीडियो को लास्ट तक देखिए और इस चीज से जो आपको समझने में जो एक पहलू है समझने वाला उसको आप मद्देनजर रखिए कि आप एज एन ह्यूमन बीइंग एक व्यक्तिमत्व इस सोसाइटी में आप क्या चेंज ला सकते हैं. So if I ask you a very simple question, what is your desire in life? आपका जीवन का सबसे महत्वपूर्ण सिद्धांत या ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? What do you desire in life? So you can ask this question to yourself. This is a very important question because that denotes your existence. आपका जीने का एक बहुत बड़ा उसमें एक important पहलू आप पूछ सकते हो एक अपने आप से कि मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है, मेरा डिजायर क्या है, मैं क्या बनना चाहता हूँ, या मैं जो अपनी लाइफ जी रहा हूँ, या द लाइफ दैट आई एम लिविंग, what impact I'm going to create in the society. So that is a very important thing that I would like you to question yourself. What is your desire in life? What do you aspire to become? What do you want to achieve in life? Is it just to earn money? Is it your only desire is to have a lot of money? So you need to understand the important aspects. If you want to become a businessman, you want to become an entrepreneur, yeah, if you want to become a successful CEO of the company or whatever you are desiring to become in life, in order to achieve that goal, in order to get into that segment, how do you plan yourself? Is it only that money is driving you? Is it the only motivation that you have? That is what I would like to ask you. And you need to write down all those points, that what motivates you, what is the driving force in your life, what is the desire, that hunger in your belly that is driving you and pushing you forward. So that is a very important and a very serious question which I would urge you to ask yourself in the coming series of my sessions, or maybe not even sessions, I would say throughout your life. You just have to ask yourself, if your motto is only to earn, but then there are many other aspects related to your desires, your mottos, that how are you going to earn? And that is a very important aspect related to this presentation, कि आपकी जो महत्वाकांक्षा है, आपकी जो इच्छाएं हैं, वो अगर पैसा कमाना है, ग्रो करना है लाइफ में, तो उससे कहीं जुड़े हुए सवाल आपको अपने आप से पूछने बहुत जरूरी है. एंड दैट इज वेयर this entire value education series is going to really create a kind of an impact in your thinking process. Okay. Now, can you think of making meaning as opposed to making money to change the world? क्या आप सिर्फ पैसा कमाना ही आपका ध्येय है, but अगर आपका ध्येय in opposite, like for example, instead of making a money or making money or growing in your life, that which is very obvious, which is very important कि आपको पैसा कमाना जरूरी है आपको, you want to earn money, you want to acquire all the kind of possible wealth that you are desiring, the kind of necessity, the luxury that you're looking out in your life, which is very important, एक बहुत जरूरी aspect भी है आपके life से. But अगर वो चीज अगर आपको अचीव करनी है, बट उसके साथ क्या आप ऐसा सोच सकते हैं कि क्या मैं इस दुनिया में, क्या मैं अपने आप में, क्या मैं इस सोसाइटी में कोई चेंज ला सकता हूँ या ला सकती हूँ? Because if you bring change, definitely that would lead to success, and that success will definitely help you to earn money. I have a lot of examples in front of you. Like for example, everyone knows Apple. You might be using Apple devices. Apple was started by Steve Jobs, okay, but he had a very different, objective of starting this organization. The objective was basically to strengthen the power, or rather, he wanted to empower the consumers with computer power. Okay, तो वो एक उनका एक बहुत important decision था एप्पल इनकॉर्पोरेशन को शुरू करने में. He wanted to make a change in the society. He wanted to give leverage, or rather he wanted to uh, ensure that the consumers have the power in their hand by using the Apple products. And that's where you can see nowadays Apple products have so much of demand in the market. It's considered to be one of the most luxurious item or electronic item that you can have in with you. The smartphones, the iPads, the smart wrist watches, or whatever you wear related to Apple, it's all expensive and it is all high class. But with the same thing, it empowers you, it gives you that kind of power to use the technology and make your work more smart and simple. In the same way, Google had the desire to be one of the most preferred brand when it comes to information. They want to provide information and to every person in the on the planet. So in the availability of information and making information viable was one of the main objective of Google. And now you can see Google has so many products, so many services to offer to each one of us, and we are so dependent on Google services, right? In the same way, YouTube also had that vision to upload videos and give the power or empower the end users or the customers to upload and share the videos. YouTube has n number of content on different subjects, and it helps all the users to get information, learn a lot of new technologies. Any subject that you type is available on YouTube. So that's the power YouTube has given to its customers. In the same way, eBay is also one of the pioneers when it comes to e-commerce trade and business. So earlier we never thought that it would have been so easy for us to sit at one place and order any product across the globe. And eBay created that platform wherein you know retailers from any segment stand head to head, and they are competing on the e-commerce platform. So that's how these organizations have revolutionized the way technology can be used, and it can be unleashed for the betterment of the society and the people. The change that they have brought, and there are many such examples. You can take examples of Facebook, you can take example of something like Twitter, Amazon, and so on. Okay, so it has definitely changed the mindset of the people, and we are so dependent on these technologies and on these platforms. In the same way, Android, iOS technologies have revolutionized the way things are happening nowadays, right? We are no more dependent on the physical delivery or going and visiting the store. Everything is possible at the click of the button. So that is how technology has changed the mindset of the people. So if you bring change, and if it is viable, if it is usable, if it has that much of potential where people can, you know, experience a change, comfort, luxury, and that can definitely earn you a lot of money. Okay, these are few examples just to motivate, just to lure you that you have to think in a different way. You have to think in a broader perspective. Simply just don't think of, okay, I want to earn money, I want to earn, I want to work 9 to 5, or maybe I just want to start a business. But then if your objective is just to do the kind of day-to-day regular activity without adding any value to that, will definitely not take you to the long run. Maybe the start would be slow, maybe it would be painful for you, but yes, the end result is definitely fruitful. So my dear friends, the objective of today's session is to make you think broader, to make you think in a very smart way. Life is to be dreamt way beyond of what you can think about. Okay, so that is why I'm urging you that think broad, think in a different way. You may have a different vision altogether. Go and chase your dreams, go and chase your vision. But for that, you need to ask a question, which I asked you in the first slide, that if what is your desire? And if that desire is this, then the second slide makes you, makes you think related to that question. Can I make a change? Instead of directly jumping towards earning money, doing this, doing that. But if your desires are linked to bring certain change, change definitely is a kind of process which leads you towards your desired goals and desired, objective of life. But the process is what is very important. In my previous session also, I spoke about the process, how important it is. Don't focus on the end result, focus on the process. If your process is good, you need to definitely work on the process, improvise it. It will definitely lead to the success. Okay, so success, growth is just the byproduct. What is important is the process which goes and goes and goes and goes on. It's perennial, it never ends, right? You may not be there tomorrow, maybe your predecessors would take over you. You might have seen so many family businesses, they have flourished because they have never believed in only achieving one goal in their life, is just to have success or just be a kind of a billion-dollar company, but they always believed in excellence. So excellence goes on, it transforms from one generation to another generation. It gets carried over from one uh, you know generation to another generation. So the legacy goes on and on and on. So that's what your objective in life should be. The change process, it's a continuous process. Okay, the next aspect that would definitely help you out is having a mantra of life. Okay, for example, there are a few famous brand like Wendy's. It's one of the popular online food ordering company, like how we have Zomato, Swiggy and all. But their main intent is to provide healthy and fast food service. Today, everyone loves to have fast food services. Everyone wants quick delivery. Everyone wants efficient services. And that's what Wendy promises. If your mission statements are very broad, very, you know, uh, long and elongated statements, it won't really make a kind of an impact which you are looking out for. आप उन्हीं स्टेटमेंट्स पे फोकस कीजिए जो आपको उस चीज में आपको फोकस रख के काम करने में हेल्प करेंगे. So for example, if anyone reads their mantra, healthy fast food, definitely people will come to know that okay, they would deliver healthy food and they would deliver it fast. So definitely people would get attracted to Wendy's rather than going to any other brand. In the same way, in Nike, everyone loves to use Nike products, right? These are very authentic products, and that's what the mantra states: authentic athletic performance. We all want to have lean physique. We all want to have a very authentic uh, figure or authentic physique for ourselves. And that's where Nike promises that the customers who use or who would use Nike products, they would get authentic athletic performance. And that's where they always strive to give those kind of products to their end users or the athletes who use Nike products. And the next one is FedEx. Now, FedEx, everyone knows it's a global, uh, you know, it's a global organization in courier services. They are one of the champions in logistics business, and that's where when you want to deliver something uh, across the borders, across any region, or across anywhere in the globe, and which is very important, very precious to you, you don't have to take any stress in your mind that whether my product is going to be delivered to that person or to my near and dear one, because that's what the mission statement says, that peace of mind. So whenever you use the service of FedEx, you would definitely have a peace of mind that your product is going to get delivered to its destination on time, and safely it is going to reach that place. So these statements definitely add a lot of value to the customers, and they help the to retain the customers. And that's where, if these companies believe in creating such success mantra statements, it will definitely as a person, you should also think that yes, it is also going to help me, that if I believe in some mantra, then that would definitely add value. So rather than thinking a lot of broad or creating broad statements for your life, have short success mantras. That's where you are going to be focused. You're going to help yourself to grow to that level. Okay. And that's where I always urge that have a success mantra. It can be anything. Like, for example, many people believe in the mantra that do not worry, do not take tension about the future, or just be relaxed. Do not take any stress on your mind. That's their success mantra. Sachin Tendulkar always believed that there is never end to excellence. He always strived to, give his best in any given situation. Rahul Dravid, his mantra was that he wanted to be in the team and support the team in any possible situation. So you always would find Rahul Dravid, playing different roles in the team. Sometimes being a wicket keeper, sometimes being a slip player, sometimes uh, you know carrying playing that innings of someone who can be relied on in difficult situation. Sometimes even he took the responsibility of being as a captain of the country. So different roles you play, and if you maintain the agility of being a dependable resource, companies would definitely love to hire you. So that is where your mantra lies. If your mantra is okay to help someone, to be a social person, to support some for certain cause, then that should be your mantra of achieving the goal. So whatever desires you have, my dear friends, obviously it has to make certain change in the society. At the same time, if you do not have any mantra to achieve that, then definitely it would never reach or help you reach to that goal. Okay, so mantra is basically a kind of a formula, you can say, or you can say a kind of a kind of a strategy which will help you to focus on your goal in a very broader perspective. And always in any given situation, you know that that mantra would definitely work in your life, and that is how you have to apply that philosophy or the mantra in any given situation, which will help you to focus on any given on in any given situation. Okay, so that is where you have to create a mantra for yourself. What do you want? How will you go to that destination? So there has to be some mantra. Okay, for example, if you want to uh, you know be a successful, you want to become a successful businessman. So the reason why I want to achieve that goal is basically XYZ reason. Okay, that is my mantra. Okay, I will definitely collaborate with different people. I would definitely collaborate with different organizations to achieve my goal. So that is why where makes me flexible, agile to reach that goal. And that is the mantra that you have to apply. It can be different for different people depending on what you desire, what is your goal and objective. Okay, but being social animal, you also have to think about the society in general, that you cannot work in isolation. Okay, so that is where you have to design your mantra, start working on it. You may not be successful in the one attempt. You can take multiple attempts, that you need to at times revise your mantra. Okay, this is not working for me, let me change, I will work in this way, and that will help me to achieve my goal in life. Okay, then Jump the curve. Okay, now here's an interesting story for you, my dear students, related to jump the curve. Now, the jump the curve is basically a very important aspect wherein you do not stick to one aspect. Okay, you always try to move from one level to another level. The best example is, earlier in US, there was, kind of harvesting business of ice harvesting business that was very prominent between 1800 to 1900. Now there was some people, they used to do the harvesting, and they used to chunk big block of ice from the cold regions in and around US, and they used to supply these big chunk of ice to market, and that used to be a kind of seasonal operation. Okay, only during the winters, or when only the climatic conditions were conducive, that point of time the business used to happen, and the rest of the season they were simply dependent on the weather conditions. And that was the first version which happened in USA, which was popularly called as the ice harvesting. It was a very popular business, and this chunk of ice used to be supplied to different market industries. Then the next wave came of ice 2, wherein the dependency on climatic conditions were not that prominent. It Most of the organizations, or rather factories, were developed wherein they produced the ice, and these block of ice were then supplied to different regions across US and cities. Okay, the dependency on the climatic conditions got reduced, and then the big chunk of or the block of ice was available in every season. That was another a major revolution which took place. Then the third revolution which happened was the technological breakthrough of having a refrigerator. Now, no one, even a person sitting, in a remote area, was not dependent on any industry, on any climatic condition. They could produce, or they could, you know, create ice with the help of the refrigerator. Now what we are using is refrigerator. So this technological breakthrough was really required. You might have seen in technology in terms of telecom business. Earlier we were using the kind of heavy handsets which were not even any kind of generation base. It was just based on the radio frequency. Later on it got transformed to different levels of technology. Then what we are using is one of the fast and easily accessible technology in terms of telecom. So we are in the fourth generation of mobile or telecom technology. Earlier we were in 2G, then 3G, before 4G it was 3G, then 2G, and then first generations. And slowly the transformation happened, and now we can easily use technology and the fastest mode of communication by just having a small smartphone. Okay, but earlier in those days there were heavy handsets almost weighing 1 or 2 kilos. Then slowly it got like the cordless phones and things like that. But again, there were a lot of limitations in terms of data usage, in terms of the frequency factors and all that stuff. Okay, but now the things are quite fast, speedy. Any part of the world we can connect easily. There are so many applications that are easily which we can download. A lot of applications are easily available on various smartphones, and that makes our work very easy and efficient. Okay, so that's one thing. You don't stick to one place. Okay, this is the technology, that's it, we are not going to use anything else. That makes your life redundant. That stops you from growing to one level to another level. So jumping the curve is very important, my dear friends. So that is what I would like to urge you, that do not stop. There is again a technological breakthrough. Whatever you do, whatever you create may have certain validity. After that it definitely is, the validity is over. But then you have to think about that. You have to think over and above what is there about, in the future. And think, if things would have stopped, okay, we would have just stopped in the 2G technology. We wouldn't have got connected. We wouldn't have all those kind of applications, the kind of gaming phones, the kind of connectivity, the social networking aspect, which is quite prominent nowadays. if things would have stopped in 2G generation or kind of technology. So there is always a paradigm shift which happens every now and then. तो बदलाव बहुत जरूरी है, change बहुत जरूरी है. That is where we have learned from the past, cases. The next part is roll the dice. Now, as a person, as an entrepreneur, future entrepreneur, or as a professional, there is always, things keep rolling, right? For example, if you're creating something, you want to do something, think deep. Thinking deep is basically, you try to understand in every possible ways. Like for example, you're working in any organization and there is a critical problem in that organization. If you are just going to stick there with the problem, it will always remain as a problem. But if you think deep, that what were the aspects that generated the problem, that would have definitely helped you a lot in understanding that how we can solve the problem. So thinking deep is basically you think in 360-degree aspect. You take all the stakeholders into consideration, their viewpoints. You do not just categorize, okay, these people are only key, key people or key stakeholders in my decision making process. But definitely there are other stakeholders who can also contribute in the decision making process. That will definitely help you to think deep, dive deep into the issue, and then it will help you to come out of, with better solution. Now whatever solution that you may come up with may not be immediately feasible, or it may not yield immediate solution to your problem, but it will definitely help you to take certain strides in resolving the problem. So thinking deep is basically you deep dive into the subject. Do not just think superficially. Okay, so that is where the dice keeps rolling and rolling. Be intelligent and smart thinker. If you want to achieve something, you have to think from the customer's point of view. Okay, for example, there are so many smart devices, smart instruments which are invented in the market. Even if you take the smart cars, thinking about the future, there are so many electrical cars which are available now in the market, because the environment factor is one of the major constraints in today's aspect. And thinking from the future perspective, companies are planning, or they are trying to shift from the generic diesel and petrol version to electric version. And that's how they are thinking intelligent, they are thinking smart. Okay, safety is one of the major aspects which many companies are taking into consideration. जो safety aspect होता है, जैसे बहुत सारी गाड़ियों में EBD system होती है, ABS systems होते हैं, smart detectors होते हैं, sensors होते हैं, जो future को एक बहुत अलग तरीके से देखना पसंद करते हैं. तो सेफ्टी एक बहुत बड़ा क्रिटिकल एस्पेक्ट हो जाता है कि हम कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी को जब हम इन्वेंट करते हैं, सो safety has one of the major aspects, and which many companies are taking into consideration. Even the smartphones that you're using, it also has a lot of safety features, the like child locking system, app locking system, and so on, so that your data security is intact. There is no external theft or any risk attached to, so that you can take care of your data, you can preserve and you can maintain the data. So that these are intelligence practices which many companies are doing, and if you are part of that, it will definitely help you. Like because tomorrow if you're doing something, you're trying to invent some technology, or you're trying to innovate something in your even day-to-day work life, you have to be a smart thinker. आपको करंट सिचुएशन से उभर कर फ्यूचर की सिचुएशन को देखना बहुत जरूरी है. What you see now it may be just a present instance, but what may happen in the future, that is what you need to think about. So you have to network with people, you have to think in a broader perspective. Complete. Whatever you do, it has to provide a complete solution. Don't think just from a very half-hearted kind of aspect. Uska complete projection कीजिए. Think from every possible angle whenever you're making or taking a decision. It may have a positive impact, it may also have a negative impact. So you have to take a complete analysis, you have to do a complete analysis of doing any work or taking any decision. There are many smart intelligent tools which are available, which helps in business decision making. So these are basically business intelligence tool. These are basically a lot of, there are programming languages and many more, which helps you to understand the problem from the core and understand the variables or the factors which are complementing each other, and how the problem or the situation is moving in that direction. Okay, so these aspects, if you study, if you create certain visualizations in certain aspects, it will help you to uh, take complete call on whatever problem you're working on. Okay, so always whenever आप कभी भी एक कोई भी problem को अगर आप study करेंगे, तो उसकी complete aspects को study कीजिए, कोई भी incomplete मत रखिए। जो भी आप solution provide करोगे, तो वो complete solution होना जरूरी है। Okay, so ये चीजें आपको as a professional, as a future businessman or entrepreneur, you should start thinking in these aspects. Completeness is very important. Don't leave things incomplete. And obviously there is always a change, revision, or you can say innovation, which always comes into practice. So never think that this is the final output, this is the final thing that I have done. Obviously changes would happen as per the new trends, new technologies which come, new challenges that you might come across. So that's how as a smart thinker, your dice keeps rolling on and on. Okay, change is constant. We all embrace change, and that is where our success lies in. Change is perpetual. Okay, change cannot stop. जो भी दुनिया में है वो है बदलाव। जैसे कि आज हम पैंडेमिक की सिचुएशन में है, कोविड-19 के कारण there is a tremendous change. Okay, your education policy has changed. The method of conducting online classes was never earlier so popular. Okay, we all know, that it is something very different, or rather a very a kind of a different pattern of teaching the students. Earlier we used to learn about online classes, but it was not a kind of a regular way. But because of this pandemic, everyone is going through online classes. Although it was hectic initially, but we have embraced the change. We are now comfortable, okay, sitting at home, uh, attending the classes, attending online classes is a complete new thing for us, but we have accepted it. But if we wouldn't have accepted it, then it would have been difficult for us to go along with the change. Okay, social distancing was never known to us. We used to meet people, we used to greet people. Never We used to use, very rarely we used to use hand sanitizers, but now because of this pandemic it has become mandate. Okay, traveling has become a big challenge, because now commuting from one place to another is again a challenge, right? So things have changed a lot, and it is changing. We are more dependent on technology front nowadays. Earlier we used to have a lot of classroom based trainings. Now it has become online. Even the mode of communication has changed. Okay, earlier we used to use a lot of mobile phones. Calling was very popular in those days, but now we are using WhatsApp, we are using Zoom, we are using so many other applications, which has changed the method of communication. So that is how you know communication has changed. Okay, learn, unlearn, and relearn, that is where we have to be, my dear students. Something which we have learned, we need to unlearn, वो change करना है, उसकी learning को change करना है. And we have to relearn, and we have to reinforce that learning. After some days, that technology, that pattern of learning would be redundant. Again we have to learn something, and that's how the cycle goes on and on. Okay, change, we at times feel it's really painful. Yes, agreed, it is not easy. Okay, कभी हमको अगर हम बोलेंगे नहीं यार, आपको ये जगह में नहीं, आपको कहीं और जगह में रहना है, आपको चेंज करना है, आपके लिए इतना easy नहीं रहेगा. It will definitely be a painful process, but yes, the end results are always rewarding, and that is what I want to show it in the coming video. And this will definitely be a kind of a great learning experience for you as well. So I would urge you to watch this video, the story of an eagle. It is definitely a motivating video, and yet it is quite exciting to know that how an animal also embraces change. So let's start with this video. So I hope the video was motivating for you all. So even it's not easy for the eagle to go through the entire change process. It has to challenge itself because after 40 years, it also, comes to a certain break-even situation where it cannot live the same life because it is slowly transitioning towards being old, and it has to again sharpen its beak, remove the old feathers that hinders its flight. Okay, so the same thing happens in our life. We have to shed away the old thoughts, the old memories, the old style of living, and then we have to adopt something new. Okay, that is, even the nature teaches us that change is important. Okay. Okay, so even this is one of the interesting case study of Nokia versus Android and iOS platform. Nokia, we all know that it is a Finland-based company, started in 1865, and it had a very successful, uh, you know, history of being one of the leader in, featured phones. You might have also used Nokia, and most of its featured phones were very successful in those days. And but the break-even point came when Nokia suddenly became a big sensation, a great global brand in mobile technology. It was more dependent on the hardware that they were manufacturing, the mobile handsets, which were considered to be very strong. It had that kind of physical endurance, you can say, in terms of what we are using. But that didn't last long because there were new entrants like, you can say, Google, then Samsung, Vivo, and all those smartphones. Okay, but then the moment they turned away their you know their management strategy of not accepting Android and iOS platform and turning to Windows platform, which was not compatible with other applications, and that was the point where Nokia completely sinked in the big ocean which they wanted to plunge. But then it paved a way to other smartphone companies like Samsung, Vivo, uh, Lava, or you can say Apple, and so many other companies that came into this, even LG, Sony for that matter. But again, in the Android technology, to be very honest, Samsung is the leader obviously in the smartphone, and obviously Apple has its own community altogether. But in this case study, I would urge you guys, my dear students, that go through this case study of Nokia. Why Nokia's didn't grow to that level. It was not that it didn't accept change. The change they accepted was very late, but at the same time, the change that they accepted was not accepted by the society. So at times, whatever you are doing, you have to be within the ecosystem. Like for example, Android created its own ecosystem. App iOS, that is the Apple product, created its own ecosystem. There are many communities who are using across the globe these technologies, but Nokia failed to be a part of this network, this community, and then that led to the drastic fall in the sales of Nokia. Although Nokia Lumia was the launch which they came of, which was the latest launch of Nokia phone, but that didn't last long because the technology was on Windows platform, and as everyone knows that Windows is not compatible to all the latest applications which are used in Android and iOS technologies. So there are a lot of things which you can learn from this case study, although in this session I won't be covering a lot of things, but only a kind of a hinter to all, or just a kind of a suggestion to all, that if you want to do something, even a business, even if you want to start a career in any technology, any kind of domain, you are already part of an ecosystem. Even tomorrow, if you want to have your own business or anything which you would like to do, it cannot be done in isolation. आप अकेले में कुछ नहीं कर सकते. You cannot do anything in isolation. So you have to be part of a network, a community, which I've already told you that how it is important to become a part of a community or an ecosystem, which helps you to grow and scale up your business or your career. So believe in these strategies, because togetherness is very important. Every company's logo, or every company's mission statement always focuses on togetherness. Together everyone grows, because this ecosystem has been developed in such a way that everyone is dependent on each other. You cannot say that, okay, I cannot do this, I will not do that, this things like that. But this ecosystem is in this way. Tomorrow, if you're working in any organization, you might have to work on different other job levels, or maybe you have to change your job level from one whatever you have aspired to, maybe because the company wants you to do that type of work. So you have to be adaptable, you have to be flexible, because you're part of that ecosystem. And if you become like Nokia, then definitely no one would like to have you, there won't be any customer for your services. It's only because you're not part of the community. So it's an interesting case study, my dear students. I want you to really go through it. It will help you a lot to understand why Nokia failed drastically. Okay. So with this, I end my session. It was, although very short and crisp, but there are many things which I would again, urge you to do, is basically is identify what is your objective. That is one thing. Second thing is, to reach to that goal or objective, you have to devise certain process. That is again, the third is, if you do not adapt yourself to the change, then definitely your situation would be like Nokia. Okay. Even if you've been a market leader, even if you have been a champion, but that consistency factor always has to be there. If you do not stick to the consistency, and consistency comes only when you're part of the ecosystem. The moment you try to isolate yourself from the ecosystem, that's the day when you will be away from the trend, the technology, or whatever is happening. So if you want to grow, the growth will only be with togetherness. You cannot do anything in silo. अकेले में आप नहीं कुछ कर सकते. You have to be dependent on people, and it is not only you are dependent, people are also dependent. When you are part of that system, that ecosystem, the environment, you are dependent, people are dependent on you. That's how it works. Okay, with this I end up my session. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do keep watching the further videos, and I hope if you have missed the previous videos, you would definitely go through it and understand what we have covered. So these are very important learnings which we are taking, and it is not only for your exam, it is also important for your life, for your career. So take care and have a great day, and be safe, and follow all the protocols which are required for safe living and healthy living. Take care.